Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to introduce the two teams in batting order. Please welcome the visiting team, Canada. Leading off and playing catcher, number 8, Robbie McIsaac. Playing shortstop, number 21, Sarah McDonald. Playing first base, number 13, Riley Cabashu. Playing left fielder, number 24, Leah Wilson. Playing second base, number 10, Amara Hunter. Playing center fielder, number 2, Mackenzie Howard. Playing right fielder, number 22, Gianna Hunter. Designated player, number 1, Jaden Gerling. Playing third base, number 14, Coco Chapman. And pitching, number 7, Richard Clegg. And now the rest of the team. And now the head coach, Joey Lai, and all the rest of the team. And now we introduce the team of Australia. Leading off and playing shortstop, number 67, Lauren Ross. Playing left fielder, number 7, Pazma McCullough. Playing center fielder, number 41, Jamie Lau. Playing catcher, number 9, Ella Fletton. Playing third base, number 14, Alia Jones. The first base, number 10, Emily Hill. Playing second base, number 6, Gabriella Nutman. Designated player, number 11, Laura Joffe. Playing right fielder, number 4, Mackenzie Hamilton. And the pitcher, number 12, Jessica Middleton. And now all the rest of the team, Australia. And the group of coach, leading by the head coach, Reggie Furley. And all the rest of the group of coaches and staff. And now introducing the umpire of this game. Home plate umpire from Italy, Lamieri Loretta. First base umpire from Croatia, Magdalene Challenge. Second base umpire from Italy, Sabrina Fabrizi. And third base umpire from Italy, Gregorio Carletti. And now please stand up, remove your hat and face the flag for the anthem of the two participating teams. First will be played the anthem of Canada, followed by the anthem of Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers of GameTime.sport from all over the world, welcome to Caronno, to Francesco Nespoli Stadium for game number 24 of the WBSC Women's Softball World Cup Under 15 that will feature Team Australia and Team Canada. The first game of the final day of the opening round that will decide the 6 participants of the Super Round, and this will be one of the key games right here in Caronno, as Australia has their first chance here this morning to conquer a place in the Super Round, where already USA and Japan have already got their pass yesterday. Another hot day here in Caronno Pertusella. Sun is shining and we're just over 30 degrees here today. As we take a look at the starting lineup before Team Canada as the visiting team here today. Robin McIsaac will lead things off for the Canadian team, followed by Sarah McDonald and Riley Kabasu. Cleaning up is Leah Raisin. Amara Hunter bats 5th. Batting 6th is Mackenzie Howard. Batting 7th is Jenna Hunter. Jaden Gerling and Coco Chapman round out the lineup for Team Canada. Team Australia has just taken the field now, as they line up as follows. In the outfield from left to right, McGuire, Lau and Emonson. At third base, Jones. At short, Rolfe. At second, Gabriella Nutman. At first is Hill. Catching is Ella Fretton. For starting pitcher, number 12, Jessica Middleton. So we take a look at the umpires for today's game as well. 3/4 are Italian umpires. At home plate is Loretta Lamieri. At first, the Croatian Alen Magdalenic, and then Sabrina Fabrizi at second and Gregorio Carletti at third base. So as said, this is the last day of the opening round. This is the tournament bracket right now. We have Japan and USA already into the Super Round after winning the first 4 games of the tournament. Puerto Rico is right now on the field to essentially confirm its spot in the Super Round, as they're playing Spain. Whereas Australia, with a 2-1 record, could get a spot in the Super Round if they are able to win Canada. Obviously, Canada will try to spoil this, as they're 1-3, and they have the one glimmer of hope there to get on a 2-3 and then play it on a 4-way tie at the end of the day. But that depends also on the results of Czech Republic and Chinese Taipei, who are both facing Singapore here today. So here's Jessica Middleton. That's Australia's ace. That's her third outing, actually 4th outing of this World Cup. She pitched against the Czech Republic, 2 2/3 innings, a win against Singapore, and then gave up 3 runs in 2 innings against Chinese Taipei. Australia is 2-1. They lost against Chinese Taipei yesterday. They will have a doubleheader here today. They'll play Canada first, and then they'll face the U.S. later today here in Caronno Pertusella. So we're about to start as Robin McIsaac steps in for Team Canada, facing Middleton in this final game of the opening round for Team Canada, the first one of a doubleheader for the Aussies, as Middleton is ready to deliver the first pitch, and that's swung on and fouled back to start the ball game, as McIsaac aggressively tries to get things started here for the Canadian team. Team Canada, who got a tough and heartbreaking loss yesterday in a 10-inning contest against Chinese Taipei. Lost 4-3 after keeping a scoreless game for the entire game, as that's a base hit in the left field for McIsaac. And immediately a good start for Team Canada, as the Canadian catcher tries to get things going here for Joy Lai's team. And the whole lineup that has actually had its moments, but has also struggled of late during this tournament. They had their chances against Chinese Taipei as well as against the Czech Republic, but couldn't capitalize. And now Sarah McDonald steps in, a shortstop, as this one gets away from the catcher. And McIsaac advances to second base. So just 3 pitches, and Canada has put a base runner in scoring position. Obviously, Canada tries to get things going. They scored 3 runs in the last 3 innings, obviously with the tie-breaking rule with runners at second base. Trying to get some more confidence offensively. They've been up and down in this opening round, as that swung on and missed. And the count is 1-1 on McDonald. Infielder from Maple Ridge, British Columbia. 4 for 12 in this tournament, a double and a triple. A good track record so far in these first 4 games, as that's fouled back. Just a late swing there for McDonald, and the count is 1-2. Middleton, 18 strikeouts throughout her 3 appearances. She's tied with Rachel Clegg, the other starting pitcher for Team Canada, the other starting pitcher of this game in terms of strikeouts recorded in this opening round, as that's popped up to behind the plate, and it is caught by catcher Fretton for the first out of the inning. So McDonald couldn't advance the runner as she stays put at second base, thus bringing up first base Riley Kabasu, who was 3 for 13 in the tournament with a run scored and a double. First pitch by Middleton is inside for ball one. Kabasu a double against the U.S. in this tournament. And Middleton tries to rally back. So after falling behind, she finds the strike zone here in the outside part of the plate. And the count is 1-1. Raisin waiting on deck. Kabasu's numbers here, 231 in the tournament with 3 hits. Batting third pretty much the whole tournament so far for Team Canada. 1-1 coming. Swung on and grounded up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Rounding third is McIsaac, and she'll score. Standing, going into second and sliding in there is Kabasu. Comes through with 1 out here in the opening frame. A base hit up the middle, an RBI, and Canada takes a 1-0 lead here early. So perfectly executed there. Well squared by Kabasu as she puts that pitch by Middleton into center field. So Canada gets things going pretty well. Australia going to a defensive conference, trying to settle things down and trying to avoid a big inning, which would be tough for Australia, who gave up 5 runs yesterday against Chinese Taipei at one point, and that was actually a decisive inning, the 5th inning. Chinese Taipei scored 8 runs yesterday off Australian pitching. And that's high and deep to left, but hooking foul by Leah Raisin. Good swing there by Raisin, who is 4 for 14 in the tournament with a couple of runs scored. Double and a triple and 2 RBIs. Getting some playing time in her international debut for Team Canada. And showing some pretty gritty confidence so as well in these first games of the World Cup. Runner at second. 0-1 pitch coming, and that's just outside. 1-1 the count. Middleton trying to settle in. We've seen some issues with the landing zone in the other field at the beginning of the game in Legnano. Obviously another very hot day, and not the easiest of conditions, not only for the players, obviously, also for the field conditions as well, as the count is 2-1 here. And Australia will play 2 games. They'll have a break in the middle, because they're going to play at 4 p.m. local time. In between, we will witness Singapore against Chinese Taipei here at Francesco Nespoli Stadium. 2 balls and a strike on Raisin. The pitch by Middleton is in there for a called strike. So the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Middleton, pretty impressive in her first outing. So far this tournament, as that's skied in the short second base actually, and that is caught by Nutman for the second out. So weak contact there for Raisin, and Australia converts the second out of the inning. Runner stays at second base. Last chance with a runner in scoring position coming up for Amara Hunter as we take a look here, and Nutman running ball over, running the ball down actually. So there are 2 down, and Amara Hunter stepping in as that's lined right back to Middleton, who makes the play. Nice reflexes there for the Australian starting pitcher as she gives the ball back to the Canadian coaches as we're about to go to the bottom half of the first. But in the meantime, Canada takes a jump start here in this ball game as they score a run and an RBI single by Kabasu on 2 hits and a runner, stranded at second. So it's 1-0 Canada after the first half of the inning. And Australia is coming to bat as Canada has just taken the field as we take a look here once again at McIsaac's swing that got things started for Team Canada. McIsaac, who scored a run after this wild pitch by Middleton, and then the pop-up there by McDonald, and then we'll see just a few instants away from seeing Kabasu's base hit that gave Canada the lead. So, just a few moments away from going to the bottom of the first inning, the first offensive frame for Team Australia. Australia who will line up as it follows. Lauren Rolfe will lead things off, the shortstop for Team Australia, followed by Tasma McGuire. Jamie Lau bats third, center fielder. Batting fourth is Ella Fretton, followed by Alia Jones and Emily Heel. Gabriella Nutman bats seventh. The designated player Lola Joffe bats eighth. And batting ninth is Mackenzie Emonson. Let's take a look at the Canadian defense as we're about to start the bottom half of the first inning. In the outfield from left to right, Raisin, Howard, and Hunter, Jenna Hunter. In the infield, at third is Coco Chapman. At short is McDonald. At second, Amara Hunter. At first, Riley Kabasu. Catching is Robin McIsaac. Four, starting pitcher Rachel Clegg, who's been one of the most engaged pitcher in this tournament so far. She's 0-3 though, with a 2.06 ERA, 17 innings pitched, 12 hits allowed, 18 strikeouts and 6 walks for her. Got a very, very tough loss yesterday against Chinese Taipei after an outstanding outing. Her first 7 innings just kept Chinese Taipei in check, though she gave up also the decisive hits in the 10th inning that propelled the Asians to a 4-3 win on the third extra inning. Clegg starts pretty well immediately here. 2 straight strikes on Lauren Rolfe. And as we've pretty much seen throughout the whole tournament, leadoff hitters are very important for all the teams. And Rolfe has done a very good job as she swings and misses here, though. So she entered 3 for 5 in this tournament. She strikes out to open up the ball game. 3 pitches right there for Clegg and a big strikeout to start things off here in the bottom half of the first inning. So strikeout number 19 for Clegg, as now she leads the tournament in terms of this statistical category. Tasma McGuire steps in as she checks her swing. So the count is 1-0 as the first pitch by Clegg is high. McGuire from Queensland, 3 for 7 in this World Cup, won 2 for 3 against the Czech Republic. Pretty high on-base percentage so far for her, 571 in this tournament. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. And McGuire chases. Count is 1-1. And one of the 2011 born players for Team Australia, alongside with Joffe and Jones and Winnett. Winnett is in the bench today as McGuire chases and misses. So 1-2 the count. Clegg is obviously getting back into the pitching circle with a lot of confidence, obviously with a tough loss yesterday, but she had a very good outing yesterday, so she's trying to bring this confidence here in against Australia as she rises this one up in the zone, and McGuire chases. So that's 2 straight Ks for Clegg to start the ball game here in the bottom half of the first inning. Australia has to chase Canada here, and with a little bit of a tough start so far for the Aussie team as Jamie Lau steps in. Center fielder for Team Australia, one of the most solid hitters in this tournament. We've also got a win in the pitching circle as well a couple of days ago. First strike taken by Lau, who's 5 for 11 in this tournament. Very high OPS, over 1,000, as that one is in there for a called strike. So Clegg keeps it going here. 2 straight strikes once again, and she's been pounding the strike zone here at the beginning of this ball game. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. And Rachel Clegg strikes out the side here in the bottom half of the first inning. A blazing start right there for the Canadian starting pitcher as we've been through the first inning. And a pretty good start for Team Canada as they're ahead 1-0 as we head to the bottom, on the top of the second inning here in Carano Pertusello. I don't see anything. You mean the other headset, or you mean the other screen?
The other headset, right?
Top of the second, about to begin for Team Canada. As Mackenzie Howard will lead things off. Center fielder for Team Canada, wearing bib number 2. As she swings on the first pitch and fouls it back. Canada scoring a run on a couple of hits in the first inning. Trying to get things going in their last game of this opening round. They're 1-3 so far. 2 close games, 1-run games lost by Canada against the Czech Republic and Chinese Taipei. And Australia has its opportunity today to get a spot into the super round in this ball game. Then they'll play the US, which has overmatched every team so far. So Australia has destiny in its own hands. Haven't started it well yet, though, as Howard fouls this one off. Hard hit ball to the left side. The count is 1-2. Check swing foul there by Howard. She stays alive, so the count's still 1-2. Middleton changing speeds for the first time here in this one. One, two, and that's just slow and outside. So Howard working the count here against Middleton. Trying to settle in. A tough first inning for her. Canada coming out pretty aggressive here in the first inning. So the key is not trying to take something away from Middleton from Canada here as Howard skies this one in the left field. Well positioned and ready to make the play is McGuire, who turns the first out of the inning. Hard fought at bat there for Howard. Still not enough to get a base hit off Middleton. Fights back for the first out and now is going to face Jenna Hunter with the bases clear. Hunter 1 for 4 in this tournament with an RBI. First pitch is outside. The 1-0. That's swung on and miss. Middleton bringing back a little bit here with some speed as Hunter couldn't catch up with it. So the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. One away here in the top half of the second. Middleton ready to deal here as this one is popped to the left side, and that's going to fall in for a base hit, and that's into the gap. Hunter to second base. She's held up. It's a 1-out double, and already the 3rd hit in this ball game for Team Canada as Hunter took the right time right there off Middleton and just landed this one right in between left fielder and the center fielder. Middleton, who struggled yesterday against Chinese Taipei, hasn't been able to find her groove so far. And now let's see if Canada can build something off this other rally as Jaden Gerling steps in. And first pitch is into the hole, caught by the shortstop. Everyone is going to be safe. What a great play, though, by Lauren Rolfe, who kept the ball in the infield and probably took away a run from Canada. Nice swing by Gerling, who gets on there, and Rolfe's dive there. Kept the ball in the infield, kept the runner at third base. So runners are now at the corners for Team Canada with 1 out. Coco Chapman coming in. Middleton here trying to get out of a jam as the time has been called. The ball has been rolling down the left field line.
Well, now, 2 runners on base. Pepper Chapman, a country.
First pitch is swung on and missed. And now trying to go into second is Gerling. She's caught in between the bases. And obviously Australia takes a look at Gerling to go back as they were careful there not to let Hunter run from third to home. So we'll do it again. Everyone at the same position. The count is 0-1. That's shot by Chapman to first base. Going home is Hunter. The ball goes to first and it's dropped. So Canada adds on their second run in this ball game on a high chopper by Chapman, who reaches safely. Not the cleanest of plays there by the Australian defense as we take a look at it. High chopper that led the runner from third come home, and then Hill with the feed to Notman. That was not accurate, so that will give Canada one more free base runner. So now there are runners at first and second, and still just one out with one run in for Team Canada as we get back to the top of the order with McIsaac coming to the plate. McIsaac, who had a base hit in her opening at bat. First pitch is high for ball one. Middleton and the Australian defense again went to a defensive conference, and obviously struggles have been pretty much in order for Middleton to start this ball game as she deals the 1-0, and that's fouled back. McIsaac right on that one, but couldn't square it up. One. That's popped up right side, and that is foul. So the count is 2-2. So 1-2 the count. And the pitch by Middleton is high for ball two, and it just briefly gets away there from the catcher. Fretton then throws to second base, but nothing's going on. So count is even at 2. Middleton hasn't been as effective and sharp so far. The Canadian hitters have been doing a pretty good job so far, laying off some pitches as the 2-2 pitch is coming. Swing and a miss. McIsaac chases this one, and Middleton gets her first strikeout of the ball game, and it's an important one as she keeps the 2 runners on base and is 1 out away from getting out of this jam. Canada scored a run in the first and already scored a run here, and now it's up to Sarah McDonald, who fouled out to the catcher her first time up. Trying to keep things going here for Canada. It's a very solid start so far, and obviously with Rachel Clegg in such good shape, you got to wonder how Australia is going to have to come back here in this ball game. Australia has been one of the best, actually, power offenses of this tournament, as that's popped up to the left side and foul. Scored double runs than Canada in this tournament so far. 26 for Australia in terms of runs scored, 13 for Canada, but still, well, 15 now. But you know that defense is always something very important in softball. As the 1-1 is coming by Middleton, and that's low and outside. 2-1. And Australia and Canada have been pretty much equal in terms of pitching performance. So little things, and the job that defense does will make the difference here today. 2-1. 3-1. And obviously, This is the third day already in a row. Fourth day in a row, check that. So also you gotta be wondering who's less tired will probably have the edge here. The 3-1 coming to McDonald. And that's popped up and foul. So the count is full 3-2. Runners at first and second. Canada with a couple of hits in this inning as well. After scoring a run on 2 singles earlier. The payoff coming. McDonald pops it up left side, and McGuire calls off and makes the play. So that will do it here in the second inning. Canada with a couple of hits, actually 3 hits and a run. 2 runners stranded on base as Australia limits the damage by keeping this ball game still pretty well on contact there. It's a 2-0 lead for Canada after an inning and a half of play. To the bottom of the second we go here in Caronno Pertusella. It's Canada 2 and Australia nothing in the opening game of this final day of the opening round, the WBSC Under-15 Women's Softball World Cup. Ella Fretton, the catcher for Team Australia, leads things off against Rachel Clegg, who had a flawless start of the game with 3 straight strikeouts against the Aussie hitters. 21 strikeouts now for Clegg in this tournament. Fretton 3 for 8. In this World Cup, has had an RBI in every game the Australian team has played. And we remind you that Australia is 2-1 so far. An 11-0 win in 4 innings against Singapore, a 9-4 win against the Czech Republic, and an 8-6 loss against Chinese Taipei. The 1-1. And that's in there for a called strike. And Clegg gets ahead here as well. So 1-2 on the New South Wales catcher for Team Australia. There's the pitch by Clegg, and that one is swung on and missed. So make it 4 straight strikeouts for Clegg to start this ball game as Fretton goes down on strikes on this pitch going to the outer part of the plate. So that will bring up Alia Jones right ahead of the Australian dugout. And we've seen it kind of every at-bat. We've seen the Australian hitters just trying to get some suggestions of what they're seeing from Clegg. She's been able to get a lot of variety to start this game, and she gets an outside corner pitch there that could be very interesting for her throughout this game. A strike here to start the at-bat against the Australian third base. Alia Jones, that is not in the strike zone. So it's 1-1 on Jones. Australia in need of something here. Jones' first start of this tournament grounds this one foul, and the count is 1-2. We said one of the youngest in this roster for Team Australia, born February 2011 as well. The youngest one is actually Winnett, who's in October 2011. 1-2 coming outside. 1 at bat and 1 out for Jones. Throughout this tournament, they'll try to keep things going here. As the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chance for Clegg to extend the strikeout streak. That's shot by Jones to second base. Easy play for Hunter as she goes to first for the second out. So no strikeout this time for Clegg, but still, second out of the inning. Got pretty easily there on a routine play for Team Canada. So that'll bring up Emily Hill, first base for Team Australia. It's actually her first start at first base. She started at third and a catching role in this tournament. First pitch is high for ball 1. 2 hits out of 6 at-bats for Hill. 3 runs scored and an RBI. Also clocked a triple. As Clegg just misses low there, and it's 2-0. So far, Australia hasn't been able to square up Clegg's pitches. Clegg, as we said, has run into some tough luck in this tournament so far, with 2 pretty good outings. As a strike has been called, meanwhile. 2 pretty good outings so far against the Czech Republic and Chinese Taipei in those two close games. And then against the U.S. as well. 2-1 pitch. And that's in there for a called strike. And right now it doesn't look like she's phased somehow, or maybe tired by the fact that she's pitched 17 innings. That's her 19th inning already in 4 days. We know she's a workhorse. A lot of workhorses here in this tournament, as Clegg gets another strikeout off Hill. So it's another 1-2-3 inning for the Canadian starting pitcher. 5 strikeouts out of the first 6 outs for Team Canada's starter. And that ends the bottom half of the second inning. So 1-2-3, and Canada keeps a 2-run advantage. We played 2 full innings here in Francesco Nespoli Stadium. Last warm-up pitch for new Team Australia pitcher coming up, as Jessica Middleton is lifted after 2 innings, and Charlotte Bedwell will come in now for Team Australia. Australia, who's trailing 2-0, and as we said earlier, they have their destiny in their own hands, as they're 1 win away from the Super Round, but they are still yet to play the U.S. So this game is extremely important here for the Aussie team, and it definitely hasn't started well. As their ace Middleton struggled, allowed a couple of runs, and now has left place to Bedwell, who's in her 3rd outing of the tournament. She gave up 5 runs in her start yesterday against Chinese Taipei in 2 2/3 innings. Also pitched an inning against Singapore. And now she needs to step things up here against Team Canada's heart of the order, starting with Riley Kabasu, who takes a strike to start the at-bat. Bedwell was in the middle of the difficult 3rd inning for Team Australia yesterday against Chinese Taipei, as this one misses away. So the count is 1-1. And Australia, of course, has shown some great signs offensively, but something's been missing in terms of defensive efficiency. We've seen that also in the first 2 innings, especially in the 2nd inning, as that's in there for a called strike off Kabasu. So the count is 1-2. And there's a chance, obviously, for Bedwell to bounce back somehow here. 1-2 coming. High and away. So the count is 2-2. Actually, Bedwell came in as the reliever yesterday, and Middleton started against Chinese Taipei. And Middleton pitched 2 innings. So that's pretty much the same thing as It's happening here today as Bedwell lines one down the left field line, nearly takes the third base coach legs off. Good swing there, another good contact for Team Canada. It's come out swinging so far here in this ball game. Kabasu's fourth hit of this tournament, an RBI single in the first inning here today. 2-2, popped up towards short and third base, called off there by Rolf, who makes the first out. Once again, good communication there for the Australian defenders. We saw a couple of good plays by the left fielder McGuire, and now Rolf with an easy and confident play behind third base Jones. So one away that will give Leah Raisin a chance with one out of runners and the bases clear. And that's grounded to third. Good play there by Jones. The throw just offline, but picked up by first base Hill, as that's the second out. Pretty tidy play there by Alia Jones. As we said, her first start here in this World Cup. Finding herself ready here with this one. Two quick outs for Bedwell here in the top half of the third. Thus bringing up Amara Hunter. Was retired on one pitch, her first time up, a liner to the pitcher. As the first delivery by Bedwell is low and inside. 1-0 the count on Hunter. Mara Hunter is now 2 for 10 in this tournament. And in 200, she went 2 for 15 in the Pan American Games. That's grounded to Rolf. Gets a tough hop and the ball goes under her. So in the first goes Hunter. We'll see how that's going to be scored. But Canada, once again, gets a base runner. They got 2 base runners in the first inning and 3 hits in the second. They're just not giving anything easy to Australia. They have to labor through this inning as well. And Mackenzie Howard coming up. Now time has been called, I believe, from the Canadian side. I believe there's someone warming up, and that's what's going on probably. Well, let's get focused back in the game. There it is. These are the numbers for Hunter, though. It's Howard who's hitting now for Team Canada as the first pitch is foul tipped into and off the glove of Fretton. Hunter at first base for Team Canada. We wait for the scoring decision. It's an error called on Rolf. The first error of the game for Australia. That's outside there by Bedwell. So the count is 1-1. Runner at first and 2 outs for Team Canada. Started both innings, both of the first 2 innings with a base runner on. Had 2 straight outs here. Now trying to develop another rally late in this top of the third inning. Count is 2-1 on Howard. And the pitch by Bedwell. And that's in there for a called strike. 2-2, Bedwell, first reliever for Team Australia. There's a couple of other pitchers that can come in. Jamie Lau, who's in center field, is one of them. And obviously, Middleton can also re-enter as well. The 2-2, grounded to second. Plays made by Nutman as she goes to first and wraps up this top half of the third inning. No hits, no runs, 1 error, 1 runner left on base for Team Canada. We're through 2.5 here in Carano Pertuzella, and Canada is leading 2-0. Welcome back in GameTime.Sport following the Under-15 WBSC Women's Softball World Cup that is going on in Carano Pertusella and Lignano. So in the other venue, Puerto Rico is leading 9-0 against Spain, very close to another run-ahead rule win, and also very close to qualifying into the Super Round. Meanwhile here, another crucial game between Canada and Australia. Canada is 1-3 with a win. They would have to hope to see the Czech Republic and Chinese Taipei lose against Singapore, which is pretty tough, obviously, as Singapore is still winless in this tournament. But they're trying to spoil Australia's chance to get into the Super Round, as they would do that if they were able to win this ball game. If they don't, well, Australia would have to somehow beat the U.S., or they would have to wait and see what happens with the Czech Republic and Chinese Taipei. Pitch is away here. The count is 1-2. Australia 2-1 in this tournament. And the two chasers, Czech Republic and Chinese Taipei, are 2-2, vying to get their third win today. Later here in Carano Pertusella, both games, Australia against the U.S., Singapore against Chinese Taipei, both coming in Carano Pertusella here later today. 2-2 the count, as Rachel Clegg has retired the first 6 hitters in this ball game. That's high and in. 3-2 of Gabriela Nutman. It's been a pretty constant and reliable presence for the Australian lineup so far in this tournament. 3 for 8 with 3 runs scored. And that's low. So Clegg concedes the first base runner of the ball game for Team Australia. And let's see if that's somewhat of a promising start for Reggie Fairley's team. As Australia is looking for some confidence, for some rhythm in this ball game. So far, Clegg has been dominant in the first 2 innings. But now Lola Joffe steps in, the designated player for Team Australia. A couple of hits for her in this tournament. 2 for 5 as this one is swung on and missed. Going to second, and in time is the throw by McIsaac. As Nutman is out at second base. And with one pitch, the ball just went away from the catcher. The throw to second is right there. And it gets the base runner Nutman, as now Fairley is coming out, I guess, to argue on the call at second. Talking with the second base umpire, Sabrina Fabrizi from Italy. Still standing at second is Nutman. I hardly doubt that there will be somewhat of an overturned ruling here. It's just an explanation here to the manager for Team Australia, for the head coach of Team Australia. There it is. There they are, actually, Fabrizi and Fairley. So Fabrizi is now calling the other 3 colleagues. Now, have to see if the doubt is about the tag at second or about the ball touching Joffe's bat on that pitch, which was actually somewhat of a doubt I had, because it was actually a passed ball, or at least the ball that hit McIsaac's glove. So you have to wonder whether that ball was fouled off the glove or not. But that's probably something that is not easy to see, though. Of course, not for the second base umpire. So call is confirmed here. So probably it was about the tag at second. So Canada gets the first out thanks to a perfect throw by McIsaac to second base as she guns down Gabriela Nutman. And now Joffe will hit on an 0-1 count with the bases clear and 1 out. So Australia's hopes to get something started already vanished. Just 1 pitch in this second at bat. And Joffe takes a pitch low. So 1-1. It's been a very good game so far for Team Canada. And again, they've been playing some tidy softball. They just haven't been able to get some results in there. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Joffe, another left-handed hitter for Team Australia. So far, lefties for Team Australia has had some struggle. Have had their struggles against Clegg. The 1-2. That's high. A lot of slappers in this lineup for Team Australia. It's just been pretty impressive throughout this tournament so far in terms of consistent hitting. And also some clutch hitting too. They've been shut down so far as the count is even. And that is in there for called strike 3. So Clegg with her 6th strikeout of the ball game gets the 2nd out of the inning. As this one just clips the outer part of the plate. Nice pitch once again by Clegg. And it's going to be tough to hit if she gets this in the strike zone so often. So there are 2 away now for right fielder Mackenzie Emerson, who hit a home run yesterday again, the inside the park homer against Chinese Taipei. Another slap hitter, as you can see here, as she fouled the first pitch off. 0-1 the count. Clegg getting ahead of most hitters so far in this ballgame. I believe it's 7 out of 9, if I'm not mistaken. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. High rise there as Emerson chases. So the count is 0-2. 6 strikeouts out of the first 8 outs for Rachel Clegg. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. So Rachel Clegg strikes out the last 2 hitters of this inning as well. She's got 7 strikeouts, has faced the minimum of hitters from Team Australia, and is cruising after 3 innings. So in Carano, it's Canada 2 and Australia nothing. So it's an unusual Monday morning of work here in Carano Pertuzel. Another hot day in Lombardia and in the entire Italian peninsula once again. As we're set to go for the 4th inning of the first game of day 4 of this under 15 women's softball World Cup in Italy. Game number 24 of the tournament. We're just about to get halfway through. 50 games, that's number 24. Bedwell back on the pitching circle for Team Australia as she's about to face Jenna Hunter, who doubled and scored in the 2nd inning. Canada with 2 runs, 1 in each of the first 2 innings. Bedwell just misses here high. So the count is 2-0. 3 hits now for Hunter in this tournament. And up and down so far offensively for Team Canada. Trying to figure some things out after this tough start, as the 2-0 pitch is outside for ball 3. So 3-0 to count. Pitch by Bedwell is in there for a called strike. So she gets back in the count here, 3-1. Bedwell with a tidy first inning. 3 outs and just a base runner yielded on off an error. On a tough bounce there on Rolf. The 3-1. And that is high for ball 4. So Hunter works a 5-pitch walk to start this top half of the 4th inning. There it is. As Bedwell worked a lot around the upper part of the plate there. Just found the strike zone once. So now let's see if Canada will get something moving here with Jayden Gerling coming to bat. Gerling had a base hit to the left side on a ball that was speared by Rolf. She fouls the first pitch back, so the count is 0-1. It's Gerling and then Chapman, the 2 members at the bottom of the lineup for Team Canada. Gerling is now 3 for 10 in this tournament, a couple of RBIs against Singapore. The 0-1. That's high for ball 1. Bedwell is struggling a little bit to find the right location here. And as we said, you've got to see how much there's left in the tank for both teams in this 4th day of work. The 14 and 15-year-olds not used to playing so often and in such intense games and in such intense weather conditions as well, even though Australian summer can be very hot for sure, but it's in a different time of the year. 2-1 coming. That's lined by Gerling, and it's over the glove of Rolford in for a base hit. So it's back-to-back base runners for Canada, and it's back-to-back singles for Gerling today. So two well-struck hits there for the Canadian designated player today. So that will make a first and second scenario with Coco Chapman up with nobody out. And as you might guess, Canada could try and get the runners going here to advance the runners a few meters. But Chapman does not show bunch. She misses, and now the runners are going to throw to third, and they got her! Fretton with a perfect throw to third as she guns down Jenna Hunter, as she's the first out of the inning. So catchers catching the spotlight here in this last couple of frames, as Fretton gets the runner at third here after McIsaac got Nutman at second in the previous inning. So runner at second and one out now. And Chapman skies this one in the left. That's deep, and that's over the head of McGuire and off the wall. Gerling will score. Heading for third is Chapman. The throw gets away, and Coco Chapman comes through with an RBI triple, and Team Canada has a 3-0 lead here in the fourth. So how about that? Team Canada really hitting on all cylinders today, as Chapman here, with a head-first slide dive that actually is kind of dangerous there, but still. Great piece of hitting by Coco Chapman. His third hit of the tournament. She's got 2 hits here today. So now a timeout has been called by Reggie Fairley in a situation that's been unraveling for Team Australia, as they're down 3-0, and the fourth run is now at third base. And it looks like Canada's really keeping the momentum up here in this one. Consistent hitting so far. Bottom of the lineup right now is 5 for 5 with a walk. That's impressive. Number 7, 8, and 9 hitters. So you wonder now, as we go back to the top of the order, if something will change, as Robin McIsaac will step in. Isaac is 1 for 2. There have been some struggles for the Australian pitching staff. We saw that yesterday as well against Chinese Taipei, in trying to stymie those big innings. And Canada so far has been able to string some hits together and are hitting the ball hard. So now McIsaac, a single and a strikeout. Chopped over the head of third base. Base hit number 2 for McIsaac. Third straight hit for Canada, and a fourth run is in for Team Canada. So Coco Chapman's triple led then to McIsaac's single over the head of Alia Jones. So Canada now with a comfortable lead here. As this one is low, the throw goes to first. But McIsaac goes back to first. Sarah McDonald will hit now for Team Canada. Now obviously, as we said, Australia does have the potential to build some big innings. We've seen that so far in this tournament quite often. As that's the way for ball 2. But obviously, there's one more challenge for Team Australia, which is Rachel Clegg's performance so far. If we take away the extra innings, Clegg has pitched 10 straight innings without allowing a run. Count is 3-0 now, as Bedwell can't find the strike zone here. And now obviously we can guess that McDonald's going to have the red light on the next pitch. McIsaac at first, 1 out. Canada with a couple of runs scored here in this inning. And looking for more, as this one is in there for a called strike. Routine take there by McDonald. McDonald, shortstop from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, as Roletta Lamieri got off to tell something to Charlotte Bedwell, as she's about to deliver the 3-1 pitch. Here it comes, and that's high and away. So second walk of the inning for Bedwell. And now the runners are at first and second with one out for Team Canada. Actually, Australia hasn't got an out yet from the plate. They got one on the bases as Hunter was got out at third by Fretton's throw. So Riley Kobasu now, who takes a pitch in there for a called strike. It looks like Bedwell has really been working on that upper part of the plate and hasn't been getting any calls so far. Kobasu is 1 for 2, a single and an RBI in the first inning. 0-1 pitch coming. Low and outside. 1-1. Kobasu and then Raisin coming up for Team Canada. Here are Bedwell's numbers for this tournament. 5 innings reached now, 8.40 ERA. That's hit by Kobasu, and that's a gapper. 1 run will score. Rounding third is McDonald. She will score. It's a 2-run triple for Riley Kobasu. And Team Canada has a 6-0 lead here in the 4th inning, and an impressive offensive outburst there for Team Canada continues. And now Reggie Fairley calls timeout as Australia is about to make another pitching change here in the top half of the 4th inning. But Canada really getting themselves into a huge rhythm offensively. And they finally breaking through. They've struggled in those first 4 games. It might be too late for Canada in terms of Super Round qualification, but still really big boost of confidence while waiting for the last part of this tournament. So there will be some changes on the field for Team Australia. Quite a few, I'd say. So now leaving the field is Bedwell. Saw, I believe it was Lau who was going back to the dugout. But still, pitching change for Team Australia is now confirmed. And it is, in fact, Jamie Lau who's now pitching for Team Australia. So there will be a substitution in center field at least, as Lau was playing there till now as she chased the liner by Kobasu right there. So Canada scoring 4 runs in this inning. And that's a pretty big lead now to handle for Rachel Clegg and the whole Canadian team. 3rd outing in the pitching circle for Lau, who has a win in this tournament. She pitched 4 innings, 2 2/3 against the Czech Republic and got a win. She allowed just a run on 2 hits, a walk and 4 strikeouts for the New South Wales native player. Well, there's 1 out and a runner at third for Team Canada. We'll get to you soon on the changes on the field, as I believe Bedwell is still staying in the outfield. But we'll get to that in just a bit, as we see here the next hitter for Team Canada, Leah Raisin, getting ready. So that's 2 triples in this inning for Canada, Chapman and Kobasu. Kobasu brought home 2 runs on this at bat, so she's got 3 overall in this ball game. And she's just 60 meters away from scoring her first run of this ball game as well. So there's a conversation here between the Australian catcher, the home plate and third base umpire here, Gregorio Carletti and Loretta Lamieri, talking with Fairley and the Australian catcher Fretton. Well, it's actually not Fairley, it's another coach who's come up for Team Australia. As Lau is just about ready to get the first pitch off here in this inning. So 4 runs have scored for Team Canada. They tried to get to a 6th run. McGuire is now in center field for Team Australia as a strike is called on Raisin. And Bedwell is in as the left fielder. So these are the defensive changes for Team Australia. As the pitch gets away from Lau, but at third staying is Kabasu. So the count is 1-1. Australia hasn't been able to find some keys to get some outs out of the Canadian lineup. Really been hitting with consistency here today, this morning. As this one is outside for ball 2. And so far already, it's pretty much the best day at the plate for Team Canada. They've scored 8 runs actually against Singapore. Obviously, kind of a different competition there. As a 2-1 pitch is coming, that's grounded. Right side, a run will score. Australia gets the out at first. But productive out for Leah Raisin as she drives home a run to make it 7-0 here in the top half of the 4th inning. So that will bring up Amara Hunter, with 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Hunter is 1 for 2, reached on the error her last time up. First pitch by Lau is low. And now ball is rolling from the left side once again. Like pinball there. The ball gets back. There's someone warming up on the left field bullpen for Team Canada. I guess it's probably Clegg, who's been waiting for a pretty long time. That's slow for ball 2. It's been like at least 20 minutes, I believe, that this inning has been going on. We'll see if the layoff will somehow change something on Clegg's performance as the 2-0 pitch is coming, and it's low for ball 3 off Hunter. So Lau with some trouble here as well. Lau just came in, got the out off Raisin. I'm trying to end things here in this 4th inning with already 5 runs across for Team Canada, as this one is in there for a called strike. Canada with 5 different players with a base hit. 2 triples and a double so far. Some slug as well for Joy Lai's team. As the count is 3-2 now on Hunter. Looking for her first hit in this ball game. The 3-2, and that's high. So she'll take a walk instead, and she'll take it for sure as Canada continues her rally. That's the 3rd walk issued by Australian pitchers in this inning. And now Mackenzie Howard, who is the 9th hitter in this inning for Team Canada. And Howard fouls it back. Count is 0-1. Howard and Raisin are the only players so far for Team Canada that haven't gotten on base yet. Fly out to left field and a grounder to second for Howard. Howard, who flashed the leather in the game against the U.S. with a diving catch in center field, and now grounds it to the right side. That's blocked by Hill, who goes herself and ends the inning, but not before Canada scoring 5 runs in this 4th inning and increasing their lead to 7-0 as we're halfway through here at Francesco Nespoli Stadium in Caronno Pertusella. And Canada has a 7-0 lead here against Australia. Well, that's a way to stay covered from this excruciating sun that is come out pretty hot here today in Carano-Pertusella. We're about to start the bottom half of the fourth inning, and weather conditions have been sort of a talking point in this tournament. It's not like it's a nightmare. I mean, it's really hot, but still great atmosphere, great, still great conditions to play softball. It's probably better to have the sun instead of rain. So the count is no balls and 1 strike to Lauren Rolfe, who leads off the bottom half of the fourth inning. Australia with a very steep hill to climb as they're down 7-0. And if they're not able to score runs, they could have just a couple of innings of time to get back in this game. Canada with an offensive outburst here today as Rolfe strikes out in 3 pitches. So that's the second strikeout of her game, and Clegg continues her dominance here. So we'll make it now 8 strikeouts for Clegg in this one, as Tasma McQuire, who's now as Australia's center fielder, steps in and takes a called strike. An impressive outing so far for the British Columbian player from Langley. He's now the strikeout leader in this tournament. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. McQuire way late on that one. And McQuire actually looked overmatched in their first at bat too. Clegg struck out the sides in the top of the order, against the top of the order in the first inning. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. McQuire chases, and Clegg has her 4th strikeout. 4th straight strikeouts. Make it now 9 strikeouts in this ball game. That's not easy to find a definition of this outing. Masterpiece so far. Strike 1 of Jamie Lau, pitching clinic. That's probably the most accurate one. 27 strikeouts now in the tournament for Clegg in 20 2/3 innings. Canada has just won 1 game, but Clegg has definitely been lights out. This one is just low for ball 1. And obviously, if you're Canada now, you're looking back at the previous games, and you really think this ought to sting how the 2 losses have come, especially the one against the Czech Republic, where Canada just couldn't string hits together and just gave up a couple of runs on a ball that went under the glove of the center fielder. But of course, also, they got a lead twice against Chinese Taipei yesterday in extra innings, but couldn't shut things down. But still, they're playing outstanding softball as Clegg delivers the 1-2. And that swung on off the glove of the pitcher. Running to first, and out is Lau. And Rachel Clegg strikes out the side again here in the 4th inning. What an outing so far for Clegg. She got 12 outs, and 10 of them have come via the strikeout. So we're through 4 here in Carano-Pertusella, and it's all Canada so far, as we're a 7-0 score after 4 full innings. We're heading to the 5th inning here in Carano-Pertusella, opening game of the final day of the opening round in the under-15 Women's Softball World Cup in Italy. Canada leading 7-0 against Australia. Jenna Hunter leading things off, and in an interesting turn of events, the bottom half of the lineup for Team Canada, 7, 8, and 9 have been never been an out in this game so far. So Jamie Lau will try to change this trend here as she faces Canada's right fielder. Hunter, a double and a walk. She was caught at third while trying to steal third last inning. Canada batted around in the fourth, scored 5 runs, as that's the way for ball 1. Hunter, Gerling, and Chapman scheduled to hit in this inning for Canada. 1-1 coming. Swung on, down the left field line, just foul. So 1-2 the count on Hunter. Well, Canada getting hot offensively. Got a good job there. They chased Middleton early. Then didn't have much trouble in figuring out Bedwell's pitches. They got a rally started in the fourth. They capitalized often, and now they're facing Jamie Lau as Australia's third pitcher, as that's grounded. And that's foul down the first baseline. So we'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So it would have been an enticing Group B so far with 2 teams. With one team that is obviously dominating, which is the U.S., who have won 4 games. But except for that, pretty much well balanced there, as that's strike 3. So Hunter strikes out. And that's the first out of the top half of the 5th. So as we were mentioning, Canada trying to get their second win. Australia has 2 wins already. Czech Republic and Chinese Taipei also have 2 wins. Now, obviously, if Australia can't turn things around, then they'll have to do it in the 5th inning, because otherwise the game is over. Or at least they'll need to score at least a run. But all in all, Australia is getting into a very difficult position if they're not able to win a game here today. Jaden Gerling now 2 for 2, a couple of singles. That's in there for a called strike. 1 run scored last inning for her. And Team Canada trending back upwards instead. They'll be getting their second win of the tournament here if they're able to hang on. The 0-1, and Gerling chases this one. Nice pitch by Lau. So the count is 0-2. It's been a difficult morning so far for Team Australia. They're trying to hang on to something, trying to get some confidence in as the 0-2 is coming. And that's swung on and missed. Nice pitch again by Lau, who strikes out 2 in a row. So there are 2 away here in the top half of the 5th. And it will bring up Coco Chapman as we take a look here at the rise pitch there by Lau, and Gerling just chasing it and missing. Chapman puts her bat in the pocket there as the count is 1-0. She's also 2 for 2. A single, a triple, and a run scored. As the pitch is low. So it's 2-0 now. Two balls and no strikes on Chapman as she swings and misses on this one. So the count is 2-1. Australia will have the heart of the order scheduled to hit in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Trying to deal with this tough situation here as Chapman takes ball 3 low. So the count is 3-1 off the Canadian third base. Amazing outing so far for the Canadian offense, as we said. Scored just 13 runs in the previous 4 games. They scored 7 here, as that is outside for ball 4. So Chapman is on for the 3rd time here today. Thus taking us back to the top of the order for Team Canada as Robin McIsaac will step in. McIsaac is 2 for 3 in this one with a couple of singles. And 2 runs scored, the first one in the 1st inning, the other one in the 4th. And that's skied, right center. McGuire coming in, she makes a basket catch, and that will do it here in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base by Team Canada. We played 4.5 innings. Canada is up 7-0, and Australia has 3 outs to play to get at least a run to keep this ball game alive here in Carano-Pertusella. Last line is the key. Winner will be declared when one team leads another by 7 runs after 7 innings, and that's the scenario we could be going towards as we're heading to the bottom half of the 5th inning in Francesco Nespoli Stadium, Carano-Pertusella. First game of day 4 of the Women's Softball World Cup under 15 category, as Canada is leading 7-0 and about to somehow upset Team Australia, who are having an opportunity to get a spot in the super round, but they're 3 outs away from having this opportunity vanish. Ella Fretton will lead things off for Team Australia, or maybe, there should be. First pitch is in there for a called strike. There actually isn't, because it's number 22, Charlotte Winnett, who's pinch hitting in place of Fretton. And Witten swings and misses as well in this on this pitch. So the count is 0-2. Winnett is 2 for 7 in the tournament. She went 2 for 4 yesterday against Chinese Taipei. Australia trying to mix the cards in against a very dominant Rachel Clegg, as this one is in there as well. 11 strikeouts for Clegg. She's definitely been the story of this ball game as she continues to cruise through this Australian lineup. What an outing so far for Clegg. Throwing with such confidence and great locations as well. Alia Jones now takes a strike. Jones was the only player who has been able to put the ball in play today. A grounder to second base. That has been it. Then just strikeouts and walks. There have been a walk by Clegg. Swing and a miss. Clegg has faced the minimum because her teammate McIsaac, the catcher, gunned down Nutman at second base. That's pretty much it for the Australian offense so far. The 0-2. Outside. 1-2 the count. Clegg keeps on going with that pitch to the outer part of the plate. It's been an outstanding job so far for Clegg. She's had that pitch. She's had it working. Let's see if she goes at it again here. The 1-2. And that's low and inside. So Jones working with discipline here. 2-2. Count even, 1 out. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch there by Clegg, and Jones chases. So that makes it 12 for Clegg. It's just 1 out away from closing this one out. Emily Hill, the last chance for Team Australia with 2 outs. It could be a 5-inning no-hitter for Clegg if she gets Hill. Just 1 base runner in this ball game so far. A flawless ball game so far for Team Canada. They've scored 7. And they're trying to shut down the Australian offense. The 1-0. And that is low for ball 2. So Clegg has to chase Hill here. one of the strikeout victims in this one, the jersey number 10 for Team Australia. That's high for ball 3. Might be losing here. Rachel Clegg trying to shut things down. The count is 3-0. No hits for Team Australia so far. Red light and ball 4 for Hill. So Clegg is not going to face the minimum. She gives up her second walk in this one. And Australia now will have to cling on this hope, that base runner at first, which represents the run that could keep this game alive here in the bottom half of the 5th. Gabriella Nutman, who earned the walk in the 3rd inning, will now have a second shot here today. First pitch is high for ball 1. 5 straight balls for Clegg. Maybe filling it here. 2 outs, runner at first. Clegg has been just about perfect so far in this one. The 1-0. And that gets away. So the count is 2-0, I believe. So there was no call in this one. Canada trying to get their second win in this tournament. Their first appearance here in this U15 Softball World Cup. As that's in there for a called strike. Ball gets away again from McIsaac. But no damage, obviously, as Australia plays it quietly here. 2-1 is the count. 2 outs and a runner at first. And Clegg doesn't find the downer part there of the strike zone, so she falls behind 3-1. Body language, a little bit of ironic smile there for Clegg, who's looking at the Canadian pitching coach here, and there's the defensive conference to try to settle things down. First real moment of little struggle there for Clegg, as probably she would have liked to have some calls there, but couldn't get them. So count is 3-1, 2 outs and a runner at first. We're seeing here an offensive conference in the meantime for Team Australia. We see Haggerty here in the camera, so I guess Haggerty will be the pinch hitter for Australia after this one, if there will be another at bat. See if Nutman has the green light here on a 3-1 count, which is going to give Clegg another pitch to play with. (3-1). That's in there for a called strike. So that will load the count 3-2. Runner at first will go. Clegg 1 strike away from closing this ball game up. No hits allowed so far for her. And that's low. Another great at-bat there by Nutman as she earns the second walk of her ball game. That's the only player for Team Australia that hasn't been retired. And Clegg with some disappointing reaction there on that pitch. She knew she lost that. So that gives Australia a chance with runners at first and second and 2 outs. And now Australia goes with a pinch hitter. Key situation here, Australia trying to keep this game alive. And I believe it's, so it is confirmed it's Haggerty with number 66. Haggerty is 0 for 5 in this tournament with a run scored. Started a couple of games for the Aussies. As that's in there for a called strike. So Clegg gets ahead once again. 1 run is what Australia needs to keep this ball game going. Swing and a miss. Haggerty out in front on that one. 0-2. Clegg looking for the baker's dozen strikeouts in this ball game. 0-2, runners at first and second. Clegg deals. high and away. Blocked by McIsaac, the throw back to first, not in time. It's still 1-2, Australian dugout trying to keep the vibes up as well. Australia will play another game later in the afternoon against the U.S. We'll focus on this one. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. 13 strikeouts and a complete game shutout of 5 innings for Rachel Clegg. Team Canada earns the second win of the tournament as they beat Team Australia 7-0 in 5 innings. In a huge win for Team Canada and a tough loss for Team Australia, who had the chance to get a spot into the super round, but instead they will have to wait to the other results. And of course, they'll wait for the game against the U.S. here this afternoon. So, big win for Canada after 2 tough losses against the Czech Republic and Team Chinese Taipei. They get a 7-0 win, a convincing performance for Team Canada, not only because of the 13 strikeouts and the no-hit performance by Rachel Clegg, but also a great contribution of the bottom half of the lineup with Jenna Hunter, Jaden Gerling, and Coco Chapman driving the Canadian offense alongside with Kobasu and McIsaac. So a pretty big boost of confidence for Team Canada as they're smiling away as they will head to the second round. We'll head to a rest day. They're resting till tomorrow and till Wednesday, and then they'll get back on the field on Wednesday as they leave with the 7-0 victory. So last greetings between the two teams. And that does it for today, at least for now, for the first game of today's schedule here in Carano-Pertusella. That's the final score. Canada wins in 5, 7-0 with 9 hits and no errors, no runs, no hits, and 1 error for Team Australia. So Team Canada ends with a 2-3 record here in this opening round. Australia is now 2-2. They'll face the U.S. at 4 p.m. here in Carano. The schedule will go on just a few hours away as it 1:30 p.m. local time. Singapore will face Chinese Taipei. There's the program here. Then U.S. will face Australia, and then eventually it's going to be Czech Republic against Singapore tonight here at Francesco Nespoli Stadium in Carano. So from Karen Senatore, thanks for following this ball game, and we hope you can stay tuned to follow the upcoming games here in Carano for the WBSC U15 Women's Softball World Cup. So for now, so long, and we'll hear from us once again in a couple of hours for Singapore against Chinese Taipei.
The head coach, Joey Tasmanakaya, Hurley. Shortstop and foul territory. And McIsaac scores the first run for Canada. The 2-2 count. Try ball. One hit of and it's shorted by Gary. Play ball. Play ball over there. And that's no. And good. One hit by Chapman. Canada score. It's a conversion expert. Good hit by Canada. Canada score 1, 2. Ground ball on the right. Good catch. Swing